Quick reflection just before I step in with another client. I'm here in my office in Carlton. I don't know if you can see out there into the street. Beautiful day. I'm writing a piece at the moment on using your strengths and taking an approach, strengths-based approach, where rather than trying to improve your weaknesses as the way forward, which is something that people can tend to focus on, rather focusing on your strengths. Now, in this blog piece that I'm writing, I've got a link to the VIA Strengths Survey. You can look that up online, VIA Strengths Survey. It's really well worth doing. Basically what these guys have done, it's part of the broader field of positive psychology, and they've done a kind of psychological and anthropological study, I guess you'd call it, a massive research or set of research projects where they've explored what the core sort of virtues or strengths are across cultures around the world and boiled them down to 24. And then they've created this kind of assessment so that you can work out what your top strengths are in ranking across these 24. So if you do this assessment, you'll get a list from 1 down to 24. The top 5 are most vital for you. So it's these guys are just researching like crazy all the time. It's a wide field, and one outcome of the research is that rather than trying to improve your weaknesses, your least strengths on the list, you're much better off by just focusing on the top 5. And in this blog post, I talk a bit about how the fact that for me self-regulation is number 22 out of 24, so it's pretty low. For that reason, I'm a little bit too given to beer and chocolate and desserts and the good things of life. And so I talk about, well, I used to be, a decade ago I was 30 kilograms heavier than I am now, and I've kept that weight off. And so I explored that. I talk about that in a bit in the post as an example, because what I've had to do is, rather than trying to build up self-regulation when it's such a weak strength, I've taken my top 5 strengths and I've used those to bridge the gap. So I talk about how I use creativity and perspective and judgment and honesty to try and cultivate the strengths so I can sort of say no to things. And I used an example this morning where I wanted to go get the delicious muffin rather than just having a banana for dessert. Sorry, for breakfast. Well, sometimes I have dessert for breakfast, but not always. I try not to. I talk about how I use honesty with myself, how I use creativity where I try and sort of imagine the future and empathically kind of, base my decisions on how I'll feel about things an hour later and a year later. So I go into more sort of structured detail in that blog post, and that'll be up maybe today or maybe this weekend. It's a really important idea. It's essentially about using your strengths and fronting the world, whether it's a matter of facing adversity or whether it's a matter of making things better, by means of your strengths, and really being aware of your top 5 strengths on that list and using those. And that's the way forward. It's not about focusing on problems, it's about focusing on strengths. Okay, have a good day.